Meine Damen und Herren, Sie wissen ja, es gibt Schöller Junior Fellows, es gibt Schöller Senior Fellows und es gibt Preisträger der Ehrenpreise für das Lebenswerk. Das Geheimnis um die Schöller Junior Fellows ist gelüftet, aber die Frage ist, wer sind die Schöller Senior Fellows 2013? Es ist mir eine ganz besondere Freude und Ehre, Ihnen, sehr verehrte Frau Schöller, Ihnen allen, sehr verehrte Festversammlung, Professor Andy Neely von der Universität Cambridge als Schöller Senior Fellow 2013 vorstellen zu dürfen. Professor Andy Neely ist Royal Academy of Engineering Professor of Complex Services in der Technischen Fakultät der Universität Cambridge. Gleichzeitig ist er Professor für Business Performance Measurement and Management in der Wirtschaftsfakultät der Judge Business School der Universität Cambridge. Er lehrt unter anderem an der Universität Cambridge, der Cranfield School of Management und der London Business School. Er hat als Deputy Director das Advanced Institute of Management Research in UK von 2003 bis 2012 geleitet und das ist jetzt für uns hier an der FAU und für unsere Partner und für Nürnberg von allerhöchstem Interesse. Er ist der Gründer und Direktor der Cambridge Service Alliance und Vordenker im Bereich der Servitization of Manufacturing. Mehr verrate ich jetzt mal nicht. Aber auch in der Verbindung von Dingen, Daten und Diensten in komplexen Servicesystemen. Und das ist ein geteiltes Interesse zwischen unserem Fachbereich hier in Nürnberg und der Cambridge Service Alliance in UK. Es ist völlig unmöglich, in der Kürze der Zeit die bisherigen Leistungen von Andy Neely auch nur annähernd zu skizzieren. Professor Andy Neely zählt im Forschungsgebiet Servitization of Manufacturing zu den weltweit führenden Wissenschaftlern. Er ist darüber hinaus im Bereich Strategy and Performance Measurement international höchst respektiert. Seine Publikationen werden regelmäßig mit Best Paper Awards ausgezeichnet. Und das finde ich ganz bemerkenswert, im Jahr 2005 hat das International Journal of Operations and Productions Management eine seiner Veröffentlichungen als die einflussreichste Publikation der letzten 25 Jahre ausgezeichnet. Das muss man erstmal nachmachen. Beim Blick auf seine über 45-seitige Publikationsliste, seine Aktivitäten in und seine Erfahrungen mit der erfolgreichen Umsetzung von Forschungsprojekten im Umfang von mehr als 30 Millionen Pfund, beim Blick auf die Liste seiner Preise und seiner Rollen, national und international, hatte die Jury letztlich auch nur einen Zweifel. Wird Professor Andy Neely als Schöller Senior Fellow wirklich die Zeit finden, gemeinsam mit den Kollegen des Fachbereichs, mit den Partnern am Fraunhofer IES, mit den Unternehmen in der Region, mit der Service Factory Nürnberg zur Forschung an der Verbindung von Dingen, Daten und Diensten in neuen Geschäftsmodellen beitragen können. Aber wer Professor Andy Neely kennt, der weiß, und Herrn Mertens wird es ganz besonders freuen, Andy Neely nutzt jede Millisekunde. Er ist ein wunderbarer Kollege, der bereits in den letzten Jahren engagiert in die Forschung am Fachbereich eingestiegen ist und auch schon längst das Open Service Lab der FAU in der Entstehung mit beeinflusst hat. Er ist ein beeindruckender Brückenbauer, der nicht nur Brücken schlägt zwischen Disziplinen, zwischen Institutionen und Industrien, sondern stets auch zwischen dem scheinbar Wichtigen und dem, was ihm wirklich am Herzen liegt. Wie anders wären seine umwerfenden akademischen Leistungen mit seiner tollen Familie, seinen 4 Kindern und einer typischen Reaktionszeit auf E-Mails jeder Art, nicht in Millisekunden, aber im Minutenbereich unter einen Hut zu bringen. Nun, lieber Andy, es ist mir eine wirkliche Freude, dich heute hier als Schöller Senior Fellow auszeichnen zu dürfen. Franken freut sich auf dich, auf deine Aktivitäten, auf die starke Brücke nach Cambridge und du kannst es dir schon denken, neben der Anerkennung für das bereits Geleistete signalisiert eine hohe Auszeichnung dieser Art stets auch, wie könnte es anders sein, Erwartungen in die Zukunft. Wir freuen uns auf die Zusammenarbeit. Ich darf dich zu mir bitten, den Schöller Senior Fellow 2013, Professor Andy Neely. Ganz herzlichen Glückwunsch. Andy, congratulations.
So, guten Abend, good evening. Thank you, first of all, to Frau Schöller, to the jury for accepting my proposal for a project. I'm really delighted to be here and very honoured. I was slightly nervous when Catherine was speaking. I thought she was talking about somebody else when she started to list these various things and expectations. And sometimes, she mentioned my family, sometimes my family get a little bit concerned. In fact, on my most recent trip, as I was about to walk out the door to go to the airport, my young daughter said to my wife, or said to me, but in front of my wife, "Dad, why are you going away again?" Which was not a very helpful comment to my wife, who'd been pointing out to me I had been away rather a lot recently. So I do try and combine those various things in life. The project that I'm hoping to execute over the next period, and as part of the fellowship, really, I think faces an important challenge that Professor Mertens hinted at and alluded to, which is that in many ways, Europe faces a significant challenge. And it faces a significant challenge both in terms of the economy, but also society more broadly. And you can see that challenge in a variety of countries. So if you look at what's happening in Spain, or you look at what's happening in Portugal, or you think about some of the challenges that manufacturing firms face in my own country, there are some real challenges about where the economy is going in Europe in the future. But there are also, I think, some really interesting opportunities. And one of those opportunities comes from the tendency or the explosion in data that exists across organisations. And one of the things that's driving is this phenomenon called the servitization of manufacturing. So a tendency for manufacturing firms not to sell products, but instead to try and sell solutions. Many years ago, there was a very famous quote from Theodore Levitt at Harvard Business School, and Theodore Levitt said, "You have to understand, people don't want to buy drills, they want quarter-inch holes." And that's true in many products. In many cases, we don't want the product, we want the solution the product gives us. And so one of the potential ways for firms in Europe to compete is to look for innovative ways to deliver solutions to their customers rather than just focusing on product. And one of the ways you can develop innovative solutions is to look at the role that data might play in helping you deliver those solutions. So people talk about 90% of data being created in the last 2 years, and if you look at how people are using that data, there's a variety of different models. So in the retail sector, many of the retailers are using data now for customer analytics to make predictions about what patterns of purchasing take place. Walmart, a famous story in the US, that Walmart now know that weather, and particularly extreme weather events like hurricanes, result in more sales of Pop-Tarts and beer, incidentally, because people are not going out in a hurricane, they're staying at home, so they buy some Pop-Tarts to feed the children and some beer to have at home while they stay safe at home. Consequence, Walmart stocks up on Pop-Tarts and beer before hurricanes come. Progressive Insurance, some of you may have come across the company. One of my children is now 17 and recently has just started learning to drive, and that means I have to insure a car for her. Insuring a car for a teenage daughter is not a cheap prospect. One of the quotes I had was for £4,000 a year to insure my daughter for driving the car. I was not quite sure that was a good value quote, given that the car was only worth £5,000. But anyway, I think my daughter's worth more, but maybe not the car. But Progressive Insurance are using telematics now to monitor driver behaviour, so actually they can reduce the premiums you pay on the car depending on how you drive the car. So in my case, I won't use my car this week. I'm travelling for the entire week. I used it for about an hour at the weekend. So why should I, as a consumer, pay the same insurance premium as someone who's using their car every day? So Progressive have now innovated their business model, and they said we can use data to change the way we charge people, so safer drivers pay less, and if you choose to speed or if you choose to drive dangerously, you will end up paying a higher premium for the service that we offer to you. Vestas sell wind turbines, but have spent 12 years buying data on how wind flows around the Earth so they can now make predictions about where the best location is to put wind turbines to maximise the energy the wind turbine produces, but also minimise the servicing costs. Because if you know the wind flow is constant, you know there's less vibration, therefore less damage to the turbine, so they're creating new value for their customers by using data to think carefully about where you might locate turbines. And then in healthcare, IBM are developing technology to assist doctors in diagnosing patients. So in the cancer treatment area, they're now using a technology called Watson to harvest research results and feed those back to the doctors, so that as the doctor's diagnosing potential treatments people require, then they can be more up to date with their analysis. The rate at which research is produced is too fast for any single doctor to keep up with, but actually if you can use the computer to help with the diagnosis, potentially we can deliver better outcomes for patients and society. And so really the theme inside this research project is exploring some of these models and saying, what can European firms do to make better use of the data to deliver better products and services that really deliver the outcomes that society needs? Because I genuinely think that for Europe to succeed in the future in terms of economic activity, we have to start to shift the focus away from just thinking about the product and think much more about the outcome that individual consumers and society needs. So exploring those issues is what we'll focus on. So many thanks once again. I'm delighted to be here. I'm very honoured by this fellowship. We had a great afternoon this afternoon talking already with some of the students, and I really look forward to our future interactions. Thank you.